Hey, do you want to learn how to paint a really easy seascape that looks really good and it's easy to do? I will show you how to do that. You're just going to need a few brushes, limited palette, just the will to paint, and let's go. Here we go. All right, so here we are. We're going to do this beautiful seascape. It's going to be a nighttime scene, so what I did already was I applied black gesso to the whole canvas, and what that is like an acrylic base. And you let that dry for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. But let this completely dry. And then what I went and did is I measured up a few inches, kind of a little bit off, not exactly in the middle because it would look weird. You want to kind of make it a little off in the rule of thirds and maybe a third up of the canvas. And you want to take some painter's tape. That's all I have is like this regular roll of painter's tape you can get at any hardware store, Walmart, anything. I actually got this one at Walmart. Any painter's tape will do. What this is going to do is this is going to give us that nice straight horizon line, especially because we're doing water, and usually water is always flat. In any painting, you want to make sure it's flat, or else it's going to look like it's running off the painting. So we established that by putting this here, and then we're going to put on our liquid clear. And all I use for liquid clear is I just have linseed oil in a little container. And what I'm going to do, get my 1-inch brush. Oh, wait. Let me go through the materials I'm going to be using. I'll have a 2-inch brush. I'll have a couple 1-inch brushes going around. I have a couple fan brushes. Any size will do for these. This is what we're going to use for clouds, and then later on we're going to put some wave action in our water, so these are really good for that. Fan brushes, palette knife, large or small, it doesn't matter. I'm just using the small one because you can have more control with the smaller one. And script liner. A nice long script liner is good for doing little highlights on the waves and stuff, so this is really nice to have. Nice script liner, and that's it for material, or brushes and stuff. But the colors I'm going to be using titanium white, a little bit of phthalo blue, Prussian blue, and I have a mixture here of burnt umber and a little bit of white to make this and a little bit of black to make this dark kind of tannish gray color here. So that's all we're going to use that for our sand. So I just mixed a little bit of the brown there, the burnt umber, a little bit of midnight black, and just a tiny bit of white. Just kind of mix them all together, make them real nice and mixed up, and that'll give you your sand color, like a dark sandy color. And with that, we're going to get started. So to get started with that, we're going to put on our liquid medium here. And what that is like I said earlier, this is just linseed oil. Now I'm using oil paints, but these are water mixable oil paints. So everything I use, even the linseed oil, is water mixable. So you don't have to use thinners, solvents. And most of the time when I do clean my brushes, I do a paper towel clean, and that's good enough. You don't have to stop and do the full deep clean like Bob always did. But I'm going to dip a little bit of that linseed oil on my brush, and we're going to touch in some spots here, and we're going to just to kind of evenly distribute it, and we're going to just kind of scrub this into the fabric or the canvas. Just get it into the tooth. You know, those little bumps and stuff in the canvas, that's what we call tooth. So just make sure you scrub in there, and this stuff goes a long way, so it doesn't take much because you can spread this out, which is what we're doing here. And this is a 12 by 16 canvas. This is not large, so it's a nice little fun thing to do. So we're gonna try to have some fun with this and see what happens. So just try to scrub that linseed oil, and it doesn't take a lot. It usually shouldn't. Usually you can get a good nice coat on there, just enough to get it slick. Because what this is going to allow us to do is this is going to allow us to move the paint, and it's going to allow us to blend the paint. Because if we were to try to do this oil painting this style on a regular dry canvas, there's a hair, we would have a hard time making it move. So we put this medium down. And if you get hairs on your canvas and stuff when you're doing this, just take the corner of your brush and just pop it off and you'll be fine. It's a good way to, because you don't want to get in there with your fingers and mess it, especially when you have stuff, when you're painting it, like in the middle of a painting. So there's all kinds of stuff on my brush. I think my brush is shedding. And these are natural bristle brushes, so they will shed. The brushes I get, they are Worcester Yachtsman brushes. And you can get them on Amazon. They're much cheaper than the big name brushes out there. But they achieve the same effects. Nice soft bristles to get those nice blends like for clouds and stuff. That's what we're gonna do. I'm trying to get all this stuff off of here. And sometimes you can usually just, and most of the time they say to take a paper towel, wipe off the canvas after you get done doing this, because you usually end up with what is just the right amount, because it's soaked into the canvas and it allows you to have that perfect amount. But I'm just spreading it out, going left to right and up and down, make sure it's a nice even coat. And I'm gonna do the same thing down here, but we're gonna leave this here because this is gonna be our water line. But I'm gonna put some linseed oil down here, just a little dip, and then just kind of scrub that in there. You'd be amazed what you can do with just a couple brushes. So I'm going to teach you how to do a nice little Moonlight Seascape today. And I'm going to have fun with that. Oops, I'm moving my whole easel here. I'm holding it so it doesn't wiggle. Because if I keep it wiggling, so I just usually hold it, so it's fine. And I apologize, there might be a glare. No, I don't see one. Okay, should be good. I'm just looking to make sure I got good coverage there. I'm gonna put a little bit more on. Just all over. Just make sure I have enough, because I don't think I had enough on there. It doesn't take much to cover it, but you want to make sure it does have a coating on there. There's a hair. And we'll go back over and dampen off with a paper towel maybe, just kind of make sure. This is the boring part, but it's the most important part. Whenever I tell my students in class, I'm like, yeah, if your arm is tired, you know you're doing it right, because your shoulder starts hurting. But just make sure you go back and forth, get it nice and evenly distributed. You don't want big gobs of oil in certain places and hardly any in any other places. And that's the purpose of that. Okay. And then you can take, like I said, paper towel clean, you can take this and just get all that excess out of there. We're gonna need more paper towel. I have a roll of paper towels down here by the side here, but that's all. That's okay. So we're gonna take some paper towel and just kind of wipe it. There we go. Sometimes you'll get these little hairs from the paper towel, but usually you should use shop towels. I don't have any, so just using what I got. but you can fix it. No problem. So we got our base coat on. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put on Prussian blue. And that's a transparent color. So what we're going to do is I'm going to get a big 2-inch brush. Go right into our Prussian blue. And we're going to just, so this is our Prussian blue. This is our brush. We have it kind of dragged out. What we're going to do is just tap that brush right on there. That way it gets nice even coating on the bristles and not big gobs of paint. So what we're going to do is once we have this, we're just going to start covering our canvas all over the canvas, the entire canvas right here. This top portion, and it's hard to see because this is a transparent color. From where I'm standing, it's starting to turn blue. I can see it on right in front of me, but it's there. Transparent color means that the background color shows through, so the black is underneath this, so it's showing through. Now white is a very opaque color, so you'll see what I mean. That one is very opaque. This is very transparent. And this is a good thing to do for like friends and stuff. If you're looking to entertain people, put all this stuff on after or before they show up. And then after they get there, then you can start adding your whites, your white color to your clouds and stuff and making it's like magic. It's like a magic trick. I did this at a trade show one time, and people were stopping in their tracks to watch. It's pretty funny. And then we're going to get some of that blue down here. I know it's hard to see, but once we start getting this in there, we're just going to leave that alone for now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to take a fan brush. We're going to go into a little bit of white. Just a little bit. Oh no, wait, hang on. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to take this. It's a 1-inch brush. We're going to go tap into a little bit of that white. A little bit. And we're going to just determine where our light source is. So I'm going to have it like right here. So what you want to do with that white paint, just not very much, just a little bit. Just come up here, because you want to start out small and work bigger. So we're going to come up here and we're going to go like this. Start out with an X shape and just kind of work around in a circle. Something like this. Use very little pressure, because look at that. You can see that blue starting to show up, and you can do different little swirlies and stuff like that. Have some what they call action in the painting. Just little swirls and stuff. So kind of blend that out. And over here it's going to be a little darker because this is going to be our light source, so everything around it, it's going to get slightly darker the further away you get from the light. And I'm just working around, just kind of swirling here and there. Now this is always the part that looks the messiest because you're just throwing the color on. But we're going to come in and we're going to blend that out. So I'm going to take a towel. And here's what I mean by paper towel clean. See how that on there? What we're going to do is take a paper towel and just kind of swirl the top. See how much paint that picks up? You can actually pick up a lot of paint from this and be able to go back right up here without ruining stuff. So yeah, this is cool little painting to do. And go back up here. I might brighten that just a little bit, just a little bit more. Oh, there's a hair. not my hair. I lost mine. There we go. Just kind of do these little X strokes and kind of get that stuff going, smooth it out a little bit. But you want to, as you get further out, you can kind of start doing little swirlies and stuff. Like just very light pressure, though. You don't want to overdo it and leave some of these dark, like misty portions. Don't make it look so flat. Just leave some of those holes, is what I call it. Leave some of them holes. So we're gonna come in with a 2-inch brush and we're gonna blend that all out. So I have another 2-inch brush over here. I keep several of the same brush going, so I have a nice clean one. Saves time. So we're gonna come up here and we're gonna blend. Very soft, very light. Doing those crisscrossy strokes. See how soft that's getting there? That's what we're looking for. Just a little bit of softness there. And then we still have those little variations and stuff. We still kept all that, so that's what we want. But this is gonna be a nighttime seascape with a little. I'm gonna put the moon in up here. I have a hair right there. Okay, I'll wipe my brush off. Might not need the 2-inch brush for a while, 'cause I think that part's done, but we'll see. I'll wipe off that excess off of there. You'd be surprised how much paint you can clean off of a brush with just a paper towel. So it looks a lot worse than it is, but on the brush, but you don't have a lot on there, so you can still use it. Just swirl it in there. See all that paint you're picking up? And that's not very much anymore, but it's stained. It's pretty much all it is now. It's just stained. Okay, so we're gonna come up here. We're gonna put a moon in, and to do that, I'm gonna take my index finger, and I'm gonna get my palette. Index finger. Here's some white. Put it on there, and we're gonna make a little moon up here. Just a little circle. Something like that. There's our moon. So there's another trick to this. You wipe your finger off though. You could use a filbert brush and just kind of twirl it in there, but I just use my finger. It's no big deal. What you can do though is take a palette knife. See how it's kind of layered up there? Take your palette knife, zip it off, and then we can soften it even more. Take our set that kind of in the distance. It's way up there. So we're gonna do that. And then what I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna get a fan brush. I'm gonna use any fan brush you want. These are hog hair bristles that I'm using. The brand I'm using is Dugato. It's on Amazon. You can buy packs of them for like $10, like a 7 or 8 pack for $10. This is what I use, and this is what I use for my classes. Good brushes. And then we can just take the corner of the brush. Let me show you. Take the corner of the brush and load it up. Get some paint on there. And we can come up here and just think about where your light source is. So everything here is going to be brighter, and we'll work on that. But we're going to put in some clouds. So we're just going to do some like little swirly motions here. And keep the brush moving. Don't stay in one spot. Just do little swirlies and kind of stuff here. Because clouds they do whatever they want, so don't worry. Okay, so I'm gonna clean off my 1-inch brush, paper towel. See how all that paint on there? We're gonna get that paint out of there, out of our brush. See, look at all that paint it's picking up just by a dry clean. This is what this is called, is a dry clean. So we're gonna do that, and today we're not gonna do the big crashing wave. We're just gonna do a simple little seascape that you don't really have to worry about the big crashing wave that you see, because that takes a little bit more in-depth technique. So we're gonna make it as simple as we can. We're gonna take the top corner of our brush here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kick this brush up like this, so that the canvas, it's gonna be like this, so that the top corner of my brush is touching the canvas. And we're gonna swirl a little bit here, just very light pressure, because this is oil paints and they can blend. Doesn't take much. You're gonna do little tiny circles. Leave this portion here alone. You can do a little bit, but mainly we're trying to soften the bottom of our cloud. So we're gonna leave the light source hitting the top portion of where it would hit, because the light's here. Our clouds are going to be brighter at this side of these clouds and brighter on this side of these clouds. You gotta think of where your light source is. So, and if you do blend that out a little bit like I just did, it's okay, because we're going to come back in and we're going to touch those up and put a little bit more white. It's easier to add color than take it away. So I usually start out small and little or light, and I usually work brighter if I need to. And very small amount of pressure, just grazing the clouds here. See how soft they are? So we're gonna come up in here and we're gonna hit some of these edges here. I might brighten up the moon too, but there's a hair. Hang on. Get that hair out of there. And we're just gonna, a little bit. Gonna blend that out. Just do those little circles. Very light, very light. Very light. And then take your brush and kind of just graze over it just a little bit. And look at all them clouds showing up there. All that stuff's happening there. I'm gonna clean this off because we picked up a lot of that blue paint when we're swirling. So we want to keep a clean brush. And I have a bucket of water over here that I usually clean during painting, but I haven't really been doing that lately because I do a lot of dry clean. So what I do now, I'm gonna do some more of that white. I'm just gonna take some more paint on my finger. Yeah, that's a little bit brighter. That's better than what we had. So I'm gonna stay with that. And I'm gonna touch up a little bit of the, wipe the paint off my finger here. And keep your hands clean. See, I got paint on my hand. You can usually use baby wipes if you have those. They work good for getting paint off your hands and stuff. Keep your hands clean so you're not traveling with it, because it'll get all over you if you're not paying attention. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to touch up little bits of these clouds here with some white paint, and I'm just going to kind of just touch with the corner of the fan brush, just a little, just kind of. gonna wipe this off because you're picking up some more of that blue. I'm gonna wipe this off. See how that blue we're picking up? So I'm wiping that off to keep it kind of fresh, so you're not polluting your white. So we got a lot of that paint off of there. Now I'm gonna go back into a little bit more white. I'm gonna do this again, just a little bit. Just kind of touch it up. Doesn't have to be perfect because clouds aren't perfect, so just enough to make it look like the light's hitting here. So now I'm gonna blend that out again. Wipe that brush off. I'm gonna blend that out just a little bit. Very light, very light. Very light. And graze over it, graze over it. Don't touch that edge. Just leave that edge alone. We just care about the bottom portions here. And then we just very lightly graze. Very light, it's very light, like barely touching. So we're gonna do that again. Swirl, swirl, swirl. Blend, 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 just a tiny bit, and then very lightly. Like that. So we got some clouds. I might put some down here too. It's a little bit, nothing crazy, but we're gonna have a couple more right here. Do another one right there. Booyah. There's some cloudy stuff going on. We're gonna blend this out and then we're gonna come back and doing the same thing we did up there. But these ones I'm not going to hit more with the more white because they're down further and the light's getting harder to reach those ones, but they're still there, but so it's okay. Just kind of soften it by going back and forth. And so we have a really nice sky now. So I'm going to wipe off my brush with a paper towel. Now we're going to start working on our water. To do that, I'm going to peel this tape off and then put our linseed oil on because that part doesn't have it. And then we're going to put our Prussian blue on. Okay. Get that tape off of there. So it's going to be dry because I didn't hit anything with it. See the difference there? That's going to be dry. I'm gonna put the tape there in the trash can. We're gonna get some, I'm gonna use a fan brush for this. Dip a little bit of that in there. We're gonna come up here. Oops, no we're not. See? Always a surprise. That's okay, because that's still gonna work. So we're gonna be adding white to that, and it's gonna look like light's hitting the water, so that's actually not too bad. Make sure you got straight on here. Just a little bit more. Just scrub it in there. I'm going to take a little bit of that Prussian blue and come up in here. And we'll go scrub in there to match the rest of this where we put it. That way it's all even. Up to that horizon line, just scrub that blue in there. Again, that's transparent, but once we start hitting with the white, it's going to show up a lot better. It's going to be really good. We might get a little bit more. There we go. Just scrub it on down. Okay, so that's taken care of there. So what we're going to do is I'm going to wipe off my brush. Get some of that wiped off. How much paint you can pick up with just doing the paper towel clean. Pretty good, pretty good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, take my palette knife, a little bit of, just to cut off a little roll of white paint. A little bit of white. A little bit of white on there, and we're going to figure out, since our light source is like right there, we're going to come up here and just kind of and the further out you go, the less light you're going to have. So, just kind of sporadically, just kind of put it on there. And it doesn't take a lot of this white paint because it's going to show up against that dark canvas. And it's going to make it pop. But see how we get some wave action going on in here? This is where we're going to do a little bit more of that. And we're just going to go booyah. A little bit more of that. And we're going to have it coming at an angle like this. Like right here. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah. That's the angle, and right here is going to be our beach. So I'm going to have the waves kind of sloshing up here. But I'm going to take a little brush. I'm going to take maybe this one. Just kind of soften it a little bit. See how soft that looks now? Nice and soothing. And we see the waves moving in there. And all we did was take this and go across. So now, before I get any further, I'm going to put in my brown sandy color mixture here. I'm going to take my 1-inch brush. And we are going to And that's okay if we get up in here, because what's gonna happen is this is gonna mix with that blue, and we're gonna get that shore kind of look there. See how it's looking like the wave, the water's kind of coming up onto the shore there? That's what we're aiming for here. So we got some sand in there. And then later on we're gonna come in here with some white, and we're gonna make some reflections, I think, just to kind of make it look a little realistic. So, actually, you know what? Maybe I'll do that now. Yeah, there's some stuff I want to do here. Hang on. But yeah, we're doing that paper towel clean, getting all that paint off of there. Getting all that paint off of there. Woo! So we're gonna get as much of that off of there as we can. And then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna actually come in here, a little bit of white. Kind of take your fan brush, put some white paint on it, a little bit of white paint, and then just kind of touch on the edges here. On the tops, it looks like the water is kind of rippling and splashing and crashing and all that fun stuff. So we're gonna do a little bit more right there. A little bit going there. So there we go. Set that down. And then what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna take that 1-inch brush, and I get a clean one, so that way I get a nice clean brush for this part. So I'm gonna take some white, a little bit, let's see, and we're gonna kind of make it look like wet sand. Oops. Right about there. Shoo. And then get a 2-inch brush, clean one. Kind of go back. And we have some wet sand right there. And all we do was take some white paint, pull it down, go across. Since this is going to be your light source, this is going to be brighter. So we started there and we worked out both directions. And then we came in and took a nice dry, clean brush and go to the side, back and forth, maybe a couple times, just enough to soften it. So that's all we did. And now, what we're going to do, we're going to take some white paint on our knife, cut some paint off of there. Nice little roll. Well, you can see that. Nice little roll. And we're gonna come up here and we're gonna make our little foamy stuff there. I don't know what they call it, sea foam. Something like that. I haven't done a seascape in a while, so this is kind of neat. Just kind of come over here, just make this stuff happen. Don't worry about it. And for this part, you want to use a lot of pressure. See how it's like pushing out from the bottom of the knife there? A lot of pressure. Just kind of push. See how I'm bending that blade? And there we go. That's what we got there. I think I might add some palm trees, a palm tree coming out. So we're gonna do that next. And for that, I'm gonna need my script liner. Script liner. And then for this, I'm gonna dip into water. Then down my paint. And you wanna twirl the brush as you pull it through the paint. And we're gonna, let's say, and it's gonna take a little bit for this to stick, so keep wetting our brush, keep running it through that paint, twirl that brush, make it nice and loose. Paint. Come back up here. This is probably gonna take a little bit. Keep loading your brush. Load that brush again. Your hand steady, as steady as you can. Part. Load our brush again, and we're gonna have some of the, I think they're called fronds. I have one come down. Like that. We're gonna have another one come down like this. Nope. Gotta have thin paint. Ain't gonna work. We're gonna have another one coming down like this. Down from the other side like that. This is just a basic idea of how to do it. Just that one. So it kind of looks like a spider right now, but it's okay. Everything's fine. Okay, set that down. Get our fan brush, because this is the next part. Get our fan brush. Some black paint on there, and we're going to kind of take it and kind of just take your fan brush and just kind of flick it downward. Bit. It's been a while since I painted some palm trees, but here we are. We're doing it. And it does not take a great deal. See how good that turned out already? And I like to use the corner of mine and kind of drag down a little bit more in different places. Something else you could do too is take script liner, thin down the paint a little bit, and kind of just pull some of that down so you get some little random thingies happening there. And then you get this one. So it looks more ragged, I guess. It has some just going out all over the place. So what we're going to do next, it's got to have highlights on the part where the light's hitting, right? So we're going to take a little bit of that blue and a little bit of that white, and we're going to try to do this. A little bit more white. More, thin it down so you have a nice thin paint going over top of this. Keep loading your brush because it's going to pick up that black paint there. Loading that up. It's okay if it looks raggedy because it's a tree trunk, so it's not going to be smooth. And there we go. We got some white, some of the light there hitting it, and I think we're good. I think I'm going to call that a day. And then the most important part is we got to sign this thing, right? So we're going to do that. We're going to take a little bit of our white paint. Let's see. We're going to kind of blend it into this thing here. Just kind of go boom, boom, boom. Hang on. There we go. And that's how to do the seascape, nighttime little seascape on the beach. And I'm gonna move this over so you can see a little bit better. And there it is. A little palm tree going up in there, so it adds something to it. So, alrighty. Thanks guys for watching. Stay tuned for more. I'm gonna be uploading more videos in the near future, tutorials.